today's topic is going to be giving up. All right, giving up. And the reason that I'm doing this topic and what kind of called me to do this was I had a couple one-on-ones this week with just a few ladies, and then I noticed that a handful of them were having very emotional weeks, and it was we had some very emotional calls. And when you guys are emotional, it makes me emotional. I kind of feel your energy, so it was an emotional week for me too. So I really wanted to touch on this. And what a handful of these ladies were going through is that they had this realization that they never expected to have, and they felt this feeling that they've never felt before. And that feeling was the heavy burden of leadership. And this was interesting for them because they didn't really know about this, and I'm hoping to kind of bring light to you ladies as well. But it's that heavy burden of leadership. So whether you are aware of it or not, when you embark on this journey, whether it's health or weight loss or whatever that type of journey is, you are now standing out as the leader in your world, in your household, in your family, wherever, of health. You are now a leader, and that is our privilege as women to be able to have that power, but it is also a curse. So when you embark on this journey, you are standing atop of this mountain, and everything that you do trickles down and has an effect, right? But here is the thing that no one really tells you about, and that is that there's only room for one person at the top of the mountain, and that means it's very lonely, it's very heavy, and it can be a burden. So I call it a privilege and a curse of having this leadership role. And so what these ladies on these calls were so emotional about was, now that there's no cheerleaders, now that there's no compliments, now that there's no extra support from the family or the spouse or the friends, now you're alone on this journey. There's no external motivation, and it's your own grit that is what's supposed to keep you going. And that's hard, and that's something nobody tells you about. Pure grit is what moves you forward, right? Where at the beginning or through spurts, it's, your husband can help out, your kids help out, you're getting lots of compliments. And then when all of that dies down, when you're alone in silence and you realize you're atop of this mountain and you still have a goal to reach that you haven't yet, it gets very lonely and that burden gets heavy. And we don't expect that. We don't expect that, right? You never really thought about it like that. And so whether you are just starting your journey, thinking about starting a journey, or whether you're well into your journey, at some point, if you haven't already, you will want to give up. You will want to give up, right? Whether it's for a split second or whether you actually consider it, that feeling will come. And I think you need to be made aware of that. So when it does come, it doesn't catch you off guard and you don't think that there's a problem. Because usually in everyday life, when we get that feeling of I should give up, we take it as a sign, right? When we feel that, we take it as a sign to slow down, to stop. It's not meant for us, right? All those things we say to ourselves when we feel that. When in reality, especially when it comes to your health and your weight loss, you do need to take that as a sign. But the sign is, oh, I must be doing something very right. I must be doing something that most people never get to experience. I must be doing something worthwhile because it's hard and it's convincing me and trying to trick me to stop. That's how we need to view it. And if I had to say it, I'd probably say weight loss is probably the hardest thing you will ever have to do. And the reason for that is because when you start, you think, okay, I just need some better habits, right? I just need to clean up my eating, maybe move a little bit more. And that's great. And that's going to get you somewhere. And it's going to show you results, and it's the kick in the butt that you need. But that will only take you so far, adding those habits, right? You are going to get to a point in your life where, how far into your journey really depends. But you're going to get to a point where those habits are no longer easy to continue. Not because they're bad habits, not because something is wrong with you, and not because they were unrealistic habits, right? Everything that we do in Fit Queen, very maintainable, right? So, but there will come a point where something just seems harder for some reason. And what that is, it's not, oh, I need to change my habits. Oh, I need to try something new. It's, oh, I need to change my life so that my habits are easier to stick to. And that is usually the very first time you will feel like giving up. That is the very first time when you will question yourself of whether or not you made the right decision or whether or not you should keep going. It is that precipice of, do I keep going or do I try something else? Because you've tricked yourself. You tricked yourself into thinking that when I feel like giving up, I should give up because it means it's not meant to be. But you get to control what's meant to be. Whatever's meant to be is whatever you say, right? And so when we get to this point, so whenever you do get that first feeling of, I don't think I can do this, it means that those habits are probably no longer easy, because now it's time to level up and take your results to the next level. And that is changing your life. Changing your life. And most women opt out of that part. And they don't take that on. They don't look at it head on and walk through it or navigate through it. They just fall back into old habits, wait till they're motivated again, and go back to the habits that stuck for a little bit last time. And then we get stuck on this hamster wheel and we start saying, oh, I've done it before, I can do it again. And then that's what we say our whole life. And we keep getting stuck, right? So it's having to make it past that first point. So how do we change our life, right? Well, it starts with changing yourself. And that's the hardest part of it all, because the saying goes, it's easier to change a country than it is to change yourself. And anybody who has an A-type personality or control issues or is a perfectionist, y'all know what I'm talking about, or is a stubborn-headed, it is very hard to change your ways. Very, very hard. And so that is why this giving up rears its head. It is a signal that you are doing something right. You should be ecstatic if you've hit that. It means something is going to change. You have an opportunity. There's this huge gaping hole showing itself to you. This is what's missing. This is what needs to happen. Because if everything goes well, you don't know what went wrong in the first place. So then when something does go wrong, you are going to be caught completely off guard and you are going to fall so hard, you don't know what happened. And you're going to land so far back, further than where you started. And that's not what you signed up for. And that's not what you deserve. You deserve to be aware that giving up will come. You will want to do it. But it is the universe telling you, guess what? You're about to level up. And that is exciting. That is exciting. And what's more exciting is if you actually push yourself and keep going, even just a little bit during that time. Because there's a gift, right? You only reach your goals when you deserve them. And you only deserve them when you have earned them. And you've proven that you've worked hard. And you have what it takes for those goals. If you're not where you want to be, it just means you don't deserve it yet. So you just got to keep working at it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because it is 100% in your control. You have all the power to determine what happens to you and whether or not you do give up, whether or not you do stay safe and take that warning to slow down, or you take it as a signal to speed up and that you're on the right track, right? If the more negative and uncomfortable you feel, that generally means you're in uncharted territory, which is where the most change happens, which is where we should all be running to. That's what we're all trying. We want a new us, whatever that looks like, small or big differences. Something needs to be new, so something needs to change. And it starts with yourself, which is the hardest part. And so I've kind of put together a couple of my favorite quotes for giving up. These are what I use to help me push through when I feel it and I know that it's there and my safe brain tries to tell me to stop. And I pull out these quotes and I was like, oh, nope, I remember what this is. I remember what this feeling is. It's a good feeling. I'm supposed to be here. It means I'm in the right direction. So, and I want to share them with you so that you can kind of use them as well. So my first quote, and I believe this was by Albert Einstein, actually. And I love this one. And when I read this one, like my jaw actually opened. You ever had one of those? Hopefully it has the same effect on you. So this is my quote. It is, it's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. Whoa. Albert Einstein said that. He basically just admitted, the genius, Albert Einstein, admitted that he's not actually smart. All he said was he just kept trying longer. That's it. How exciting is that? Guess what that means? You can all be on Einstein's level. Are you serious? Alberta Einstein's on the call. You can literally make it to Einstein's level. That is how powerful the power of not giving up is. There's nothing special. You don't have to have any advantages or any lucky genes. It's just trying to solve a problem for longer. Beyond when you'd normally give up, beyond when everybody else has given up. When you are alone at the top of the mountain and nobody is there with you and it's cold and it's dark, if you just keep working at a problem, you can get to Einstein's level. Imagine being the Einstein of your health. How cool is that? I love that quote. That's something that blows my mind every time. The next quote I have is, character consists of what you do the third and fourth tries. Character. We don't want just habits here, because habits come and go based on how crazy your life is. We want to build character. You want to be somebody who does the things that nobody else will do. You want to be the somebody who can force yourself to do the things when it's hard to do them. You want to be the one that's the leader in your house. You want to be this woman. We all have this fantasy of this badass woman in our head who we want to become. And you cannot become her until multiple attempts in the future. Multiple attempts, multiple failures, multiple tries. The third try, the fourth try, the 100th try. That's where you develop the character to be able to keep going and sustain what is needed of you for the rest of your life. It is not the first time you try, it is not the second time you try. That's when you build habits. But you ladies, you want to build character. Does that make sense? There's a difference. Habits can come and go. Character is for life. Character is your identity. That is who you are, how you act, and how everybody sees you. And that's the stuff that's rock solid. That's the stuff. So that one resonates with me too, because we think, well, we want to be good the first time, and we hope we'll be really good the first time, right? We all hope we'll be that one person that's like the shining example when we try things. We're the one that everybody can look to as an example, right? We're the awesome before and after story and the transformation story because we did it the first try. We all hope that's us. But even if it was you, you're still not given the chance to build your character if you don't have the stumbles to teach you what you were missing in the first place. Your body is just a shell. It's the soul inside of this and strengthening of that soul that will shape the shell and maintain the shell. If that shell changes without the soul changing, your soul is not elevated. Your soul will pull you back down physically. And so that's what that quote kind of means to me. The third quote I have here is, how long should I try? And then all it says is until. How long should I try? Until. Period. Just keep going. Just keep going until you get there. If you're not there, the only answer always is you got to keep going then. But what about this? What about this? But this is my way. But this is my... Nope, keep going. But what about this? But I can't do this. And then this is this happening. Okay, keep going. How long should you try, ladies? Until you get what you're looking for. And if you don't know what that is, keep trying. And if you're not there yet, keep trying. And you think you found it, keep trying some more and find something new. How long should you keep trying for? What's your time frame? How long are you going to be on this journey? Until. Just like that. I love that one too. And then the last one I think is very fitting. And this is a reminder that we all need sometimes. And this is, you can back up, just don't give up. You can back up. You can slow down. You can ease up. Doesn't make you less of a person, doesn't make you less successful, doesn't make you more of a failure, doesn't even make your goals farther away. You can back up when you're struggling. Just don't give up. That's the difference. That's the difference. We all think that our health can be paused, right? You ever put a gym membership on pause because you're not going to use it, right? That whole thing totally boggles my mind, that whole concept. How are we pausing our health? That whole message is messed up, right? I'm going to come back when I have more time. Well, your health is still continuing while you're pausing. Whether that's getting healthier or getting closer to a disease, an illness, it's still moving. You don't get to put a pause just because life is crazy. If you pause, then your disease and illness is unpause. And when you unpause your health, that's when those pause. So you get to choose. You either pause your illness or pause your wellness. You don't get to pause at all. And that's something that I think we forget about. Because when life gets overwhelming, we think that being healthy can be an extra stress, right? Stresses us out to fit this in, to fit that in. That doesn't come naturally. That's too much work to meal prep. And it's just, in the long run, sure. Is it more challenging in the beginning because we have to make up for lost time? Absolutely. We have to rewire our brain? Absolutely. But by the time you unpause, what's the damage that can't be undone? That's something that we shouldn't want to figure out, right, ladies? And so you can back up, just don't give up. And that's something that you can say to yourself very often when that feeling of giving up comes up. Just say, okay, it means that there's something very uncomfortable and very challenging happening for me right now on my journey. Something very uncomfortable, usually that I've never had to deal with, I never chose to deal with, or I have no idea how to cope with or survive. That's how new that feeling is sometimes. So all you got to do is just back up, chill out, breathe, pick something, not nothing. That's it. So those are my 4 favorite quotes. And I hope that they can kind of help you when you hit that roadblock, or if you're in that roadblock right now. What I would say, ladies, is I feel you, I hear you, I see you at the top of that mountain alone. I see you. And I know it's lonely. And I salute you standing there in the cold, in the dark. That is how champions are made. And I see you. And it's heavy and it's lonely and it gets unbearable sometimes. And you question whether or not this is the road you want to take alone and burdened. But if you question that, I can tell you, you do want this road. You do want this road. Do not cheat yourself out of the woman that environment, that pressure can change you into. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Don't avoid it. Don't avoid it. Learn to be okay with it. Learn to be okay with it. And that's what I want you to take away. I see you on the top. I see you alone. I see you there at night when it's snowing. I see you. I see the work. You are seen by me and by the Fit Queens. You don't have to be seen or validated by your family, by your friends, by anybody else. You just have to know that you chose this journey. You chose it. You're not stuck here. Every day you wake up and you choose it. You choose to be the leader, the badass leader. You chose that, flaws and all, criticism and all. You chose it. So keep choosing it. Don't cheat yourself out of that. Don't cheat yourself out of it, because that is what we are so good at doing. It's so easy to give up. It takes 2 seconds to do, and you could leave and never come back. and you wouldn't know what you're missing out on. That's the scariest part. You'd be fine. You would be fine. But that's not good enough. It'll be great. You know? Better than that. So I see you, ladies. I salute you. This is a very noble journey you are on. And yeah, that was kind of where I was inspired to go with this call from the ladies and what they had to this week, their realizations there. I think this is something that nobody talks about because it's not sexy and no one wants to hear it. And if this is what I told somebody on the first meeting with them, they'd be like, no thanks, Fit Queen's not for me, right? I just want to lose 10 pounds, no thanks. But this needs to be said because we're too hard on ourselves, and wanting to stop is so normal. And if we knew that, we'd keep going when we wanted to stop. And you wouldn't have gotten here in the first place. So going forward, you're gonna want to stop. That's totally okay. Not okay to stop though. It's okay to want to stop. It's not okay to stop.